Ben was staring out the window, shoulders tight, trying to calm himself down. It had been one of those long days. Vin wouldn't stop winding up, snapping at little things, going quiet and then loud again. David saw it all and said gently, "Take a walk, man. Vin went through a lot this week. He's just trying to find his footing." So Ben nodded, took a breath, and rolled Vin's wheelchair out onto the porch. The evening air was cool and still. Streetlights were just starting to blink on one by one. Vin sat small in his chair, eyes puffy, hands twisting in his lap. "Daddy Ben," his voice cracked, soft and tired, "I just hate everything now and I'm scared." Ben crouched down beside him, resting a hand on Vin's knee. Hey, none of that, bud, you don't gotta hide from me." Vin sniffled. "It's like everything keeps changing. The home, the people, the way they look at me. I don't even know what's next. His voice trailed off, shaky. "I just want it all to stop." Ben's heart hurt hearing that. He brushed Vin's hair from his eyes and said, "You don't have to figure it all out tonight, okay? You just went through a storm. You can hate the rain for a while, but you're safe now, right here." Vin looked up, watery eyes meeting Ben's. "Promise." Ben smiled faintly and squeezed his hand. "Promise, kiddo. Now how about we do what David said and take a little walk, just you, me, and the night air?" Vin hesitated, then nodded slowly. Ben started pushing the chair down the sidewalk, their footsteps and wheels soft against the pavement. Streetlights glowed above them, and for the first time that week, the silence felt gentle. Vin whispered almost to himself, "Thanks for not giving up on me." Ben smiled, "Never gonna happen, little man." They stopped under the old oak by the park, the one with the crooked roots where the kids used to hide notes and treasures. Vin pointed weakly. "There," he said, "that's where Liam, Daddy John, and Daddy Alan put the box." Ben knelt down beside the tree, brushing aside a bit of dirt and leaves. Sure enough, under the roots was a small tin box, rusted at the edges but still holding strong. Vin's hands trembled. "Please hold it," he said softly. Ben nodded, lifting it gently and setting it in Vin's lap. The sound of the lid creaked when he opened it. Inside were two old photographs, edges worn but still bright with memories. The first photo showed little Vin, no chair, no tubes, just a kid laughing in the arms of his mom and dad. The sunlight hit his face perfectly. He looked free, whole. Vin swallowed hard. His fingers hovered over the picture like it might disappear if he touched it too hard. The second photo was newer, Vin in his wheelchair, smiling shyly between Liam, Daddy John, and Daddy Alan. All of them had their arms around him, proud, protective. Vin's lip quivered. "Daddy John and Daddy Alan told me it was for me," he whispered. "Said one day when I felt lost, I'd find this again." Ben looked at him quietly, eyes soft. "They wanted you to remember how much love you've had around you, huh?" Vin nodded slowly, tears slipping down his cheeks. "I think they knew I'd need it." Ben knelt beside him, wrapping an arm around his shoulder. "You've still got it, kiddo. Love doesn't stay buried. It just waits under the tree till you're ready to find it again." Vin leaned against him, clutching the photos close. Can we keep it?" Ben smiled. "Of course, bud. We'll take it home, clean it up nice, and keep it safe, just like you." They sat there a long time under the old oak, the sound of the wind in the leaves, Vin's small voice breaking the quiet just once more. "Thanks, Daddy Ben." Ben kissed the top of his head. "Anytime, little man." Back home, Ben lifted Vin gently from his chair, careful not to wake him too much. Vin was half asleep, his arms still clutching the little tin box to his chest. "Come on, buddy," Ben whispered. "Let's get you tucked in." He laid Vin down in his bed, pulled the blanket over him, and brushed the hair from his forehead. Vin murmured softly, "Don't let it go, Daddy Ben's the box." Ben smiled faintly. "It's right here, bud, not going anywhere." He set the box on the nightstand beside him and turned on the small lamp. Vin's breathing slowed, steady and peaceful. For the first time in days, his face looked calm. Ben stepped quietly into the hall where David was leaning against the doorway, arms crossed. "He's out?" David asked. "Yeah," Ben said, rubbing his eyes, "but look what he found." He held up the small tin box. David raised a brow. "That the one from under the tree?" Ben nodded and opened it. The two photos glimmered under the hallway light. "This one's Vin with his mom and dad," Ben said softly, "and this one Liam, John, Alan, he called them his daddies." David's face softened. That must have been before the group home days. Yeah, Ben said, he told me John and Alan said this was for him to find when he felt lost. They both went quiet a moment, the hum of the house filled the silence. Ben sighed, he's been through so much, man, but the way he held that box, it's like he finally got a piece of himself back. David nodded slowly. Maybe that's all he needed tonight, not words, not therapy, just something that reminds him he's always been loved. Ben glanced back toward Vin's room, the soft light spilling across the floor. Yeah, he whispered, I just hope he starts believing that again. David clapped a hand on his shoulder. You're helping him get there, one night at a time. Ben smiled tiredly. Yeah, one night at a time. It was late, almost midnight, when Ben's phone buzzed on the counter. He glanced at the screen. Will. For a second he thought about ignoring it, not wanting to wake Vin or start another long night, but something in his gut said to pick up. He stepped quietly into the hallway. Yeah, Will, what's up? Will's voice came low and steady on the other end. Ben, I need you at the new step office tomorrow, 12 sharp. No Sam, no David, no Liam, just you, understand? Ben ran a hand down his face, glancing toward Vin's room. All right, I'll be there, but I don't like surprises. Will gave a small chuckle. Just come alone tomorrow at noon. The line clicked off, leaving Ben standing in the dim hallway, phone still in his hand. He looked toward Vin's door again, the little nightlight glowing, the tin box resting beside him. The next day, Ben walked into the step office, the smell of coffee and polished floors filling the air. Will was waiting, sitting in his wheelchair at the head of the table, papers stacked neatly around him. Ben, Will said, voice sharp, we need to get something clear. You are not here to play Sam or Vin. Vin isn't mentally challenged. Vin is a liar. He doesn't have a real deal after Camp Toby ended. Now he has delays, and I want you to be the new assistant camp director of New Step. Ben blinked. Wait, me. Director. Will leaned back slightly. Liam said he was behind the scenes. Liam was the real camp director, but he told me you might do this. Ben reached into his bag and pulled out Vin's medical file. Mentally, Vin Sam Jackson is age 17 months, he said quietly. Will's face didn't change, but his tone sharpened. So, Ben, you like wiping Vin's ass for free or throwing him into a group home and getting rich? Ben's jaw tightened. He shook his head slowly. I'm not taking it, and if you need help, I'll help, but not like that. Will sighed, leaning back in his wheelchair. All right, Ben, have a great day. Back at the house, David and Rob watched Vin as Ben slipped in quietly. He gently put headphones on Vin so he couldn't hear their conversation. David whispered, Ben, what happened at the office? Ben let out a tired sigh. Will offered me a job as assistant camp director. Then he went on about Vin and his delays. He asked if I wanted to wipe Vin's ass for free or get rich. David's eyes went wide. What did you say? Ben's lips curled into a bitter half-smile. I told him he needs help more than Vin does, and basically he can go fuck himself. Later, Ben and Rob stepped outside. Ben asked quietly, Rob, if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Rob exhaled slowly. I'd do the same thing you're doing, but here's the difference. David hired me. He tells me what to do. You're fully managing Vin's life for him, everything, and so far you're keeping him alive. That means you guys are okay. We're still mad about Camp Toby, but you already know what to do. Ben exhaled, tension easing slightly. Yeah, keep my head down and do right by him. Rob nodded. Exactly, keep doing right by him, that's all that matters. That night, Ben helped Vin out of his chair and carefully changed him for bed. Time for bed, little man, he whispered. Vin's eyes wandered to the wall. Look, the picture, he said, pointing. Ben smiled. The two in the box on the wall, got it after today. Vin nodded. Yeah, I made a new one. David peeked in. Vin made a new one to add, of Rob, Vin, you and me, right? Yeah, Vin said shyly. Ben crouched beside him. You made this after your great change today, huh? Vin nodded again. I want to put all three up. You, me, Rob, and David can each take one just like these. The next morning, the four of them gathered around Vin's little project. Ben carefully opened the new box Vin had made, revealing 4 small pictures inside. Vin handed them out one by one. You take this one, David. Rob, this one's yours. Ben, yours, and I keep this one. Ben placed his picture on the wall. David and Rob added theirs. Vin clapped his hands lightly. See, now we're all here, me, you, Rob, and David, always. Ben crouched beside him. Exactly, buddy, always, and every time you look at this wall, you'll remember how much love surrounds you. 2 weeks later, Ben stood in the kitchen late at night talking to David. After these 2 weeks, he's talking for real. I thought I couldn't do this whole guardian thing, but with you and Rob here, it's no issue. David smiled. You didn't just make it work, Ben. You gave that kid a life again. He trusts you. That's not something you fake. Later, Ben, David, and Rob sat in the living room, watching Vin play quietly. David sighed. I've known Vin for a long time, but this first time I've seen him actually happy. With John, Alan, and Liam, he was just I don't care. Vin was a show pony for them. They loved him, sure, but they needed him to be mentally there, and he was, but that's okay. Even in that power chair, he was happy, but he couldn't work it. Ben nodded. I saw that too, but now I'll help him. More driving lessons, step by step, we'll get there. Rob smiled. That's all he needs, a chance, and you're giving him that. Finally, that evening, Vin rolled slowly to the wall where the pictures hung, his little family captured in small frames. He paused, eyes tracing each face, a soft smile spreading. Ben crouched beside him. Like what you see, little man. Vin nodded. Yeah, I made this for us so we can always remember. David and Rob smiled warmly. Vin whispered, I like it, I like us. Ben rested a hand gently on Vin's shoulder. We like you too, Vin, always. Vin leaned against him. Always. Always, Ben said. The room was quiet, the sunlight lighting up the tiny faces on the wall. Vin's smile grew, and for the first time it was clear. He felt truly seen, truly loved, truly home. And in that simple, quiet moment, Ben, David, and Rob all knew it had been worth every struggle, every worry, every step. Vin was happy, Vin was safe, and they were exactly where they needed to be.